Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve and starring Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, Stellan Skarsgård, and many others. Now, Dune Part 1 was seen as a rather risky film by Denis Villeneuve, considering it was based off the Frank Herbert novel of the same name that was said is a novel that could never be filmed. But after the first film was a lot of build up with a bit of action here or there, the second film basically ends up being the conclusion to this particular part of the Paul Atreides saga, with Paul Atreides proving himself to the Fremen, ultimately becoming the leader he needs to be, and ultimately fighting the Harkonnen. And let's get to the story to see how he does that. Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet, is believed to be the Messiah by the Fremen after he proves himself in knife combat. But as he grows closer to a warrior named Chani, played by Zendaya, he needs to prove himself as the Messiah that they claim him to be by going through a bunch of tests, which includes riding a sandworm. This is all while his mother, Lady Jessica, played by Rebecca Ferguson, has to essentially become the revered mother among the Fremen. And she has to make the use of her Bene Gesserit training in order to basically become a religious figure who can unite the masses, even the fundamentalists, onto Paul Atreides' side so they can have a substantial force to fight the Harkonnen. And since Baron Vladimir, played by Stellan Skarsgård, is seen that Paul Atreides is still alive, he sends his nephew, played by Austin Butler, a cruel, deceitful, and psychotic young man, in order to crush the Fremen rebellion and to try and keep the Harkonnens' control over the planet Arrakis, because whoever controls the spice controls the universe. But that's all I'll say about the story. The story here is in a film that's 2 hours and 46 minutes long, but a lot of that is basically focused on building these characters and eventually setting them off in a final battle that definitely makes great use of visual effects to not only sell us on the massive scale of the sandworms, but also it shows some genuinely great choreography in the film's many knife fights. Dune is definitely a story that's full of sandy environments, guerrilla war tactics, and even some messages about the dangers of faith and religious dogma. And the film definitely goes over all of that. All the characters are memorable in their own way. Austin Butler really gets to shine as the crazy nephew of Baron Harkonnen, and he definitely makes himself known in every scene that he's in. Rebecca Ferguson also does a great job as Lady Jessica, going from the concerned mother to the Bene Gesserit with the most influence over the Fremen in a really believable way. And Timothée Chalamet also happens to prove that while he does well as the shy and unsure Paul Atreides, he also does well as the commanding presence of the Paul Atreides that he becomes later on. So he definitely sells his character development. Chani, I heard, is a bit different here than she was in the original novel, but to me, Zendaya still does a great job with what she's given, and she also does a pretty good job in the knife fight scenes too. Also, I really like seeing all the different factions of the Dune universe. We get to see the Emperor, played by Christopher Walken. We get to see a princess who's his daughter, played by Florence Pugh. We even get to see Paul Atreides' sister, who will eventually be played by Anya Taylor-Joy. But the fact that she only gets to be seen in a flash forward a dream that Paul Atreides has does let you know that they're kind of banking on us getting a part three in order for her to have any substantial role in the future. But considering how well marketed this film was and given how satisfying I found it to be, you should definitely believe the good reviews and believe the hype here. I do think the film is a little too long towards the end. You can definitely feel the runtime in the last 20 minutes. But aside from that, it's a sci fi epic that definitely deserves your attention. That's why I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. See you next time.